Gruppo Albatros Il Filo presents Matters of Conscience, a book by Massimiliano IVAGNES. The short stories of this heterogeneous collection share the same central idea. How do humans react to difficult situations, to all the bad things that happen in the world? How do they approach love, looking for the white geranium and like the wind through the sassafras branches? How do they choose between their beloved ones and social responsibilities, the sun, the rain? How do they act when the future is uncertain, Roberto's diary? When they meet someone different, Marco and the dolls? When people around us need our help, my best friend and father for real? And when they look at themselves in the mirror, ghosts from the past, are they brave, mean, merciful, or cruel? There cannot be only one answer to these questions. The aim of this collection is to describe different ways of reacting in critical situations and of choosing between what is best for ourselves and the people we love and the greater good. Moreover, the short story entitled Like the Wind Through the Sassafras Branches pays homage, maybe clumsily but candidly, to Jane Austen. From The Sun, the Rain. That day, when I stepped into my office on the 3rd floor of Modena Courthouse, I didn't know that I would face the most complicated case of my life, which would make me take painful and difficult choice. It was March 25th, and as usual, I withdrew into my pokey room after giving instructions to my secretary and taking from her the folder of my next preliminary hearing. I turned on my computer and opened my certified email. Dear Raffaele Rizzo, I read impatient. Your transfer request to Lecce Courthouse has been approved. Therefore, starting from August 1st, you will perform your duties as GIP judge at the above-mentioned office. The letter forced me to make a series of bureaucratic requirements before the transfer. From Roberto's diary. August 4th, 2038. Sometimes it seems impossible to survive in such sultry days. Our dormitories are as hot as furnaces. Only at night you can have a break if you go out in the street, but the siren sends us back to those glass-covered rooms too early, and it's like entering a sauna after an entire day absorbing the heat. Last night I lingered outside for 15 minutes after the siren, daydreaming about the past, and the executors immediately surrounded me. Serial number 75699, what are you doing outside the dormitory? From Ghosts from the Past. The brass fireplace shovel hit her head violently, bewildering her as a stabbing pain made her close her eyes. She fell on her back, instinctively raising one hand to her forehead, panting and moaning. She turned on her right side, trying to grasp the door handle with her left hand in order to run away from her violent attacker. She felt numb, and another blow on the parietal lobe made her unconscious. Detective Alessandro Bulla felt lost, like in a blind alley. Every time that hoarse voice in his head would say, "Run, run, run," he felt uncomfortable. Alessandro could not explain that, but those words made him strangely anxious. Who was the person calling him? What did he or she have to do with the murder of Rosanna de Robertis? Why did the voice urge him to run, to hurry up? From Looking for the White Geranium. Rodolfo and I have spent some beautiful days together. I remember every moment with him, his white and perfumed corolla, his warm and velvety petals, and his strong and thin stem. We would play all day long, and at night I would sleep in his corolla, cradled by the north wind. Then I got carried away with euphoria, and I started wandering from flower to flower, hoping to find somewhere else the same kind of love I felt for Rodolfo. But in vain. I went too far, and I can't go back to him anymore. I've been such a fool. From Marco and the Dolls. Marco was lying motionless on the bed. Those treatments debilitated him. He could barely move a limb, provided that his brain could send a signal. That deep and grave buzz in his ears lasted for hours, and even with his eyes closed, those flashing lights astounded him. Every time that happened, he felt his willpower vanish. He felt completely annihilated. The doctor stood up, walked around his desk, and stopped by the window looking at the desolate courtyard. If he is not recovering as fast as we expected, it's because of you. It's because you don't follow the rules. Rules. Rules for peaceful cohabitations. Rules of common sense that your abnormal and twisted ego refuses to absorb. From Like the Wind Through the Sassafras Branches. In winter, when it's snowy, Stratford-on-Avon looks lovely. The tree branches are embellished with white lace work and the roofs are covered with pure white shiny cloth. Lorraine Scott could spend all day looking at the snowflakes lying down on the town alleys, on the fountain in front of her house and on the coaches on Brewery Street. "Would you lend me your dame for a waltz, Mr. Harris, before taking her to the hospital for multiple limb fractures?" asked Peter Winnicott from behind Lorraine's back. From Father for Real. Spring 1976 was sad and desolate. Alessio was hopeless, believing he would spend his entire life in that grey and cold orphanage. Even the bright colours and the vivid smells of spring seemed to be useless. He was an orphan, and things would never change. "You'll see one day you'll have a mom and a dad too." "What's your name?" asked Donato. "Alessio," he answered, lowering his hand. "Now they'll go away," he thought. Surprisingly, the couple didn't run away. Actually, they moved closer to him. Donato outstretched his hand. Alessio grasped it with excitement. "Daddy,